All right, Antoine, you get 2 goals called off early in the first half. You stick with it. How good did that goal feel in the second
Yeah, it
half?
felt great. I have to see the goals back, but live they felt really, really onside. I got a yellow card for it. I think I told the ref that I was right and he was wrong. So it is what it is. I thought I was onside, and here we are. It feels good to get one that actually counts, especially one that wins us the game.
And can you take me through the goal? You got a nice pass
Yeah.
from Connor and chase it down.
Yeah, orange cleats on orange cleats. We were talking about it. I was telling him before the game that he should only pass to me, and he did not listen until there. And he finally passed me the ball, and it was I scored a goal. So it's I'll show him that video to make sure that he keeps passing me the ball a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, to get that goal, especially when you guys have been down so many times at home and just have continued to struggle, finally to be able to come back from behind, what does it mean for you guys and going forward?
Yeah, it's a great feeling. I think we've felt hard done a lot this year. It's one of those seasons where it feels like everything's going against us. So at some point we gotta just keep fighting through it. And I think you heard the stadium erupt. I think you saw what it meant to the players, to the bench. I saw our subs going nuts after we scored. So it's one of those things that you could feel that energy, and it's something that we feel like we deserve. And I think we're going to get a lot more of these wins.
Yeah, a couple of new signings this week as well. How was it playing with them for the first time?
Yeah, it's interesting when you sign a guy. And then you practice with him maybe once or twice, and then you get to play with him in a game. So it's always a little bit of a learning curve. But both of them really good. Modesto played fantastic. He won a lot in the air. He played well with his feet. He found me a couple times into the channel. So he's going to be a big addition for us. And then Daniel, obviously, he's coming in. He's still kind of getting his feet wet. He just got here a couple days ago, so we're still learning. But he did a great job fighting for everything. And he could have gotten a couple goals if the bounce went his way.
And you're missing Kyle and Elvis tonight. Did that put a little bit more pressure on you up top to try and make some plays and score a goal?
Yeah, I mean I'm the forward, right? So my goal is to score. Like there's nothing else. So when I play the 9 like I did tonight, I expect to score goals or get assists. And last week I got an assist. This week I got a goal. So I'm hoping to continue that streak in Pittsburgh.
And did it feel good as a teammate of Beverly for a guy who's kind of been in and out, battled with injuries this season, to get his first goal? Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from him this season?
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's worked really hard all year, and sometimes you don't get to play. There's only 11 guys who can play, a couple guys coming off the bench. So sometimes it's really hard mentally to continue going. He's one of those guys you can tell he's mentally tough. He came into that game, he did his job, and then he scored a banger. And then we're tied up, and all of a sudden the game's different, and you could tell what it meant to him. He had that stone face, but you could tell on the inside he was really happy. So the whole locker room was hyped for him. He's a good guy, and we're obviously super happy for him.
What does it mean to go that final 10 minutes, especially with the 7 added minutes and the red card, to be able to get through a final stretch like that without conceding, having a defensive performance where you're able to see out the win? What does that mean for the guys?
Oh, that's great. I think we've given up so many goals late. It's unbelievable. I've never been a part of that, so it's demoralizing. But there was a different energy. It didn't feel like we were going to give up a goal. I think in a lot of games, sometimes it felt like we were going to give up a goal. Tonight, it didn't feel that way. I feel like we felt really strong. Robin came in and did a lot for us. Matt came in and did a lot for us. Luke came in and put in a shift. So these guys the subs who came in and worked super hard, helped us win the game, and that makes a difference.
That's what I was going to ask you. Have you guys felt that mindset shift? And we talked about it a little, just that you can win, you will win, and he's just trying to get you guys to play meaner, is what he talked about earlier in the week.
Yeah, I think we obviously all agree. We want to play a little, we want to be tougher. We want to be, we don't want other teams to be happy to be playing against us. We want to get into those little scuffles, into these little, things where, you can tell the opponent's uncomfortable. I think we're hoping to change that mindset. I think today's one of those days where, we're hoping the scales kind of tipped in that direction, but it doesn't mean anything if we can't win on next Saturday against Pittsburgh. We gotta win a lot of games in a row here, and we know that in the locker room, so we're going for everything. Our season's not over, so, we're going to go out there. I think Pittsburgh's going to get a mean, angry, and very motivated Hartford Athletic next week.
How do you beat them next week?
We score more goals than them. That's a goal. I think they're a good team. Bob Lilly has them working super hard, and he keeps them very organized. So it's one of those situations where you gotta make sure you don't give up any goals early, because if you give up a goal early at Pittsburgh, you're in a lot of trouble. So hopefully we're able to keep him at 0-0, able to sneak one early. But if we're at 0-0 going into half, and we have the firepower to get goals. We've shown that all year.